Welcome to the Bull, the Bear, and the Ugly podcast, your no-nonsense guide to the markets. Subscribe, join the community, and get ready to dive into real talk and real market insights. Let's get started.
Hey, I'm Steve Kalayjian, and welcome to the Bull, the Bear, and the Ugly. Well, we saw the markets again get kabooshed today, but a lot of volatility. All traders love volatility. We saw early this morning, the S&P futures were trading around the 66.86 level, and they got absolutely kabooshed, and then they rallied right back up. And the sell divergences on the S&P futures on the 30 and the 60-minute time frames stopped the market from going any further around the 66.73, 66.75 level. Also, at that time, right around the 11 o'clock time period, you saw the big bear flags. There was twice that the S&P futures hit the 72.75 level. It hit 72.75, dropped down to 50, rallied right back up to 72.73, dropped again. Nothing but sell divergences on the underlying ETFs on the 60 and the 30-minute time frames, but also on the S&P futures on the 30 and 60-minute time frame, okay? Also, with that being said, earlier today we saw NVDA shoot right up out of the gate. We had some buy divergences. NVIDIA was trading above the 180 and then got absolutely kabooshed, making new highs. The 60-minute time frames were the tell here, of the shorts. NVIDIA, new highs. The MACDs couldn't confirm. SMCI, the MACDs couldn't confirm. Microsoft, the new highs above the 09.5. Microsoft dropped 3. Apple, the 60-minute time frames could not confirm. All these big time frames, Palantir, monster short. Palantir pushed down, rallied up about $8 above the 180, about the 184 and change. I said I would short the heck out of it. Okay, dropped, got kabooshed, rallied off the 15, and then once the 30-minute time frame reversed to sell, we had nothing but shorts on the 15-minute time frame. Amazon down about $1.94 overall. S&P futures down less than 0.5%. Nasdaq down less than 0.5%. We had the Russell of the two. We had down nearly 0.9%. Again, I told you I'm extremely bearish. I am looking for a really nice pullback here in gold and silver, where I'll be looking to buy. S&P futures, I'm telling you, the gaps below are going to get filled. There's too much complacency here. I wouldn't be surprised, seriously, and I say this, if we get a push down to the 60-50 on the S&P. Now, you must think this guy's out of his freaking mind, right? That's 600 points on the S&P. You know, we've come so far, so fast. I wouldn't even be surprised if we drop 1,000 points on the S&P. But with that being said, listen, you know, it's all about every single day just chipping away. We had some really great shorts on Bitcoin today. The 30 and the 60-minute time frames reversed. A great short on Bitcoin right around the 3 o'clock time period, around the 109,900. Bitcoin dropped about 600-700 points, just like that. Coinbase, absolute Picasso today, bounced right into the on the opening. We had great shorts on OKLO this morning on the push up, and I'll show you that off the 60-minute time frames. Also, Coinbase pushing up against the 60-minute time frame and the 30-minute time frame above the 318 level, about the 316 level. And then when Coinbase reversed the sell, going into a negative trend, you can see the shorts, and I'm going to show you. So if you see here, the S&P futures, I'm going to put the 30, I'm going to put the 60 here, and then I'm going to put the 30 here. Okay, you can see here, okay, that this is the push early this morning. This is the 9 o'clock, 9:30. S&P futures right here at 9:30, and then you can see the push down right down to 66.31. In the pre-market, we were trading right around the time period right here, around the 80 what was it? 66 level on the S&P. Okay, we got the push down. Look at the push up here, 72.5. Right here again, 72, drops down to 52, right back up to 74, 75. Where is this going? Overbought, making new highs here, new highs here, into these negative MACDs on the 60-minute time frame. It ain't happening, right? It ain't happening. Okay, look at the spiders here, SPY. You can see the spiders, okay, right here, pushing up. Now, even though the algorithm reverses to buy, the ADXs were rising on the 30 and the 60, the big selling pressure. I said, look at this big bear flag on the 30. You can see S&P futures 659.41. You can see the drop of almost 50 points on the S&P all the way down. So the S&Ps were trading the 66.75, traded all the way down below 66.24 before rallying sharply off the deep oversold conditions. Again, major shorts here. Let's look at Coinbase here. Coinbase pushes up. Look at this. Pushes up to 317.99. Where's Coinbase going? Making new highs. Negative MACDs. Negative trend here on the 30 and 60. Sell disconnect because the 15 was still bullish. And then look at the push up here. Okay, to 317.99. Okay, really, where's the MACDs going here? Nowhere. Okay, and then if you look at the 15-minute time frame, the 15-minute time frame reverses to sell right here. You can see, and then you short the first bounce on the 15. Okay, after it correlates into a negative trend, and there you have a major short. OKLO again, push down, pushes up here into the bear flag right here. You can see OKLO. This is the short. And you can see the push up here. You can see the 60 reverses to sell. The 30-minute time frame still in sell mode. This is a monster short right here at the 122.48. Got absolutely kaboosh, $5. Eventually dropping here and then pushing right back up again to get re-short off the 30-minute time frame. Drop 3. Look at this short. What is bear flag? When you see the negative MACDs like this, the ADX is rising. I mean, the stock rallied from 10 up to 22. And then you can see the drop here of about 4.5, 5. And then another push up here. I told you when OKLO was above the 138, 139, 140 range, I said this OKLO here. Now, I would probably be a buyer of this if it gets down here into the 80, 75, 85 range. Again, I'm very bearish here. But net, I just want to say it's just really overextended. And even though I think there's still more downside here on OKLO. If you look here on the weekly chart, we're still 44 points away from the 10-bar weighted moving average. Palantir, PLTR, absolutely on crack today. You can see here's the gap opening. Now, we shorted this here right on the opening, right near the opening, 183. It opened at 178. It pushed up above, and I waited, and I saw that they were making, again, new highs here, okay? And then you saw the push up. Here's the first one right here. Right here, this is it. This is the one, sorry. It opened at 183.90, pushed up as high as 184.85. I said to everybody, stay with the shorts and add, and look what it dropped. Kaboosh, $7, okay? Now, the 60 minutes still bullish, but then at the end of the day, again, we got the push up into the negative MACDs. This is why the 60-minute MACDs really halted the market here, okay? Really halted the market overall. And then if you look here at Microsoft here, now let me just show you also, when you see the 30-minute time frame reversing here and correlating with the 15, you take the 15-minute overbought condition right here. You can see the overbought condition when Palantir traded from 177 all the way up to 180 and change. I said I'd be looking to short the 15s, and it dropped about $2. So again, you went into a sell disconnect, and then you short the first bounce on the 15. Coinbase, when Coinbase reversed to sell, the 15 correlated with the 30 and the 60, and you short the first bounce on the 15 after the 15 reversed to sell and correlated with the 30 and the 60-minute time frame. What else here? Okay, look, we went over. Okay, GLDs here. So the GLDs reversed to buy here. But again, when gold was making, look at this bear flag. When gold was making every new high I was telling everybody in my live stream I would short the gold here. These negative MACDs had no chance here. We shorted here on the GL. Well, let's just go to gold, actually. We'll just look at the gold futures here. And you can see here, you can see why I'm so bearish on gold. You can't have negative MACDs on the GLDs and making new highs here, okay? This was a monster short here after the pencil down right here. And then we got shorts on the new highs here at the end of the day. You can see that the GLDs here, when traded up 3.7, gold dropped about $9 off that. Okay, you can see the drop here. Actually, let me see, 37.89 on the gold, and you can see that, yeah, Jesus, gold dropped about $13 here. Again, because the GLDs, if you look at the GLDs here, and again, when you're trading the underlying ETFs, you're seeing the new high intraday, okay, and you can, the MACDs are not confirming here. These are monster shorts, okay? Let me show you the USOs here. Okay, now the USOs are pretty interesting because you're in an uptrend, okay, and you had some really nice pullbacks on oil. But let me show you this. You see when the USOs reversed to buy and it correlated with the 15 and the 30-minute time frame on my indicator 4. When the algorithm reverses to buy and the MACDs are negative, you take the short, boom, 76.60, boom. You can see oil drop 40 cents on that. That's a set pattern right there. That is an absolute set pattern. When the algorithm reverses the buy, when the MACDs are negative above the pivot, you take the short, and then you wait for the pullback on the 15, and that's exactly what you look at here. You can see the pullback on the 15 right here. Beautiful bull flag, 76.21, and it rallied 40 cents, and actually even higher. But that's exactly how you play that. When the USOs are in buy mode like that, okay, you look to buy the pullback, especially after they reverse to buy on the 30 and which correlated with the 15 and the 60. You buy the pullback on the 15-minute time frame. So with that being said, I'm just trying to get some technical things done here. SMCI, another one here, one more here. If you can figure this out here, you can see again, SMCI pushed up to new highs here at the end of the day. The MACDs did not confirm. Nothing but shorts on SMCI. All right. When I get back, I will tell you what I expect for tomorrow. So tomorrow being Friday here, we have the PCE Core Index, okay, to be released. And, you know, one of the things I'll tell you, okay, is that if you look at the overall market with the PE ratios, with the where these stocks are trading, the complacency level, I'm telling you, yes, it is at to me a record here. A lot of people still think the market's going a lot higher. We've come from that 48.32 all the way up to 67 and change. Okay, but I am a firm believer that September, October are going to be some brutal months here, and there's no guarantee that the so-called Santa Claus rally is going to be here this year. Markets are up way up about 14-15%, and I just think that the markets are really going to be headed for a fall. Yes, are there opportunities to buy? But if you're long the markets, I would be in cash, or I would be selling a lot of call options against positions. Me personally, I think you look for aberrations in the market. We had a monster aberration, the push down, and then we got the big push up here. So again, what I would be looking for better entries, and I do believe these gaps down to 56.70 on the S&P will be filled. Okay. People think I'm crazy, but I did call 6,500 one of the first people ever to say 6,500 when the S&Ps were trading 50, 56, 5,400. I said by November, watch 50. I said November of last year, I said look for S&Ps to trade 6,500. People told me I was absolutely crazy. When the S&Ps were trading 48.32 Sunday night and 48.72 come into the morning, and we opened up around 49.25. Every technician was calling for 3,600. Well, a lot of them 3,600, 4,200. I said S&Ps aren't breaking 4,800. Go check my work. It's posted, timestamp, dated on X back on April. I think it's April 5th or April 3rd. Check it out. I said to look to buy Bitcoin, and I would buy the world. Okay. All right. So basically, For tomorrow, I expect more volatility. The bigger time frames are still negative here. The ADXs are rising, big selling pressure. So any rally, I say let them have them. Okay, I am bearish and I am not bullish, especially with these 60-minute time frames. Really bearish on the diamonds, the Russell, the spiders, and the Qs. Okay, if we do get some push down and we get some deep oversold conditions on the 30 and 60-minute time frames, probably would take some longs here. But you do have a little buy divergence off the 30-minute time frames. The MACDs are positive. So if you do get a deep oversold condition, it should be short-lived. But that could be, S&Ps could push down another 40, 50 points, be 60 points before that happens. But we'll see what happens. On any rally, on overbought conditions, I'm looking to short them. On any deep oversold conditions, I'd be looking to buy them on the 30-minute buy divergences. All right. When I get back, I have to reiterate this one aspect of the markets that are really critical in trading. So please, please, please listen carefully. So today, for example, the S&P futures traded 66.30, 1.25, ricocheted all the way back up. Okay. They rallied all the way up to 66.50, pulled into 66.45, and then they ripped all the way up to 66.72. NASDAQ ran on that move. I think the NASDAQ, let me see if I'm correct on this. I want to just be clear. And the reason why I'm doing this is because there's a moral to this, okay? And it's all stems from the fact that when you're trading the markets, you need to have stop orders, okay? So here it is. The NASDAQ futures was trading 24,422. It rips all the way up to 24,584, 160, pushes right back up to 24,646. So that's of 240 points in 45 minutes. Okay, people have to adhere to stops. Okay, if you're short and you put a stop in, no problem. Okay, but you can't have monster moves without adhering to stops. Someone today was short in the S&Ps, right? I called a real nice range, okay? And he was short. It dropped about 3-4 points. He didn't cover or lower his stop. Next thing you know, he calls me. He says, "What do you think I should do?" And I can't give him any investment advice. He says to me, "The trading's 74.75." I said, "Where are you short?" He goes, 61. I go, "How do you let that happen?" I said, after we called the short range, 60 to 65, they dropped down to 56.5, 57.5. You should have covered and lower your stop. And instead, you watch it go up 15 points against you. How do you do that? Okay. So you got to get in. You can't drive a car without brakes. Okay. And I'm not trying to even be funny, but you got to adhere to the game. There's rules to the game, and you can't self-destruct. And that's what the message is here tonight. You really need to adhere to stops, okay? Especially with the significant volatility that we're having, okay? All right. Again, in order to be consistent, you need to adhere to the rules of discipline. But most of all, what you need to do is you really need to adhere to stops, okay? Lower your stops, trade the market, hand on the mouse, and be consistent and learn from me, okay? Listen, I get stopped out. I come right back. I'm not bigger than the market. The biggest guys in the world I've traded with, they stop out, they wait, they go back in, boom. It's preservation of capital, okay? You can't be right 100% of the time, but you really want to try to be right 90% of the time. And that's was what I teach each and every day here at SK Trading, okay? To be consistent, have discipline, have confidence, have the patience and the passion, okay? All right. With that being said, thank you for joining me tonight on the Bull, the Bear, and the Ugly. Please hit the subscribe button. Please leave a comment. Also tonight, a special night on my funded futures. I'm hosting every night from 8 to 10, the Asian opening. If you go to my funded futures YouTube, they're going to be giving away 100 free 50K core accounts if we have 1,000 views on my funded futures YouTube. So please be there. Also, if you'd like to follow me on social media, it's official Stephen Kalayjian, X, Instagram, and TikTok. Also on YouTube. With that being said, if anybody likes to reach out to me, my cell phone number is 500-7484. With that being said, have a great night, everybody. God bless you. I hope to see you tonight. If not, I'll see you tomorrow. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America. Take care, everybody.
Thanks for tuning in to the Bull, the Bear, and the Ugly podcast, your no-nonsense guide to the markets. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe at sktrading.live. We'd love for you to rate, review, and join our community for more real talk and market insights. Until next time, keep trading and stay sharp.